Stalingrad was not the sort of battle in which a superhero could arrive unnoticed. The city was pulverized, the Volga was watched from the air, and every surviving road had an army moving along it. Yet in the world of the Incredibles, one man was built for exactly this battlefield. More importantly, a real American mission leaves a gap in the record large enough for him to enter. In late autumn, while Soviet forces were closing their ring around the German Sixth Army, Brigadier General Patrick Hurley traveled to the Stalingrad front. He was accompanied by Lieutenant Colonel Richard Park and Major John Henry. Hurley's report says the party crossed the Don, visited forward Soviet formations, and came within roughly 50 kilometers of Stalingrad while combat was still underway. The 3 officers were named, but the official American account later admitted that security restrictions prevented the full story of what they had seen and heard from being published. That omission matters. The chronology of The Incredibles places Bob Parr in exactly the right window. Pixar gives us an early 60s world, followed backwards by a 15-year jump to Bob's glory days. Brad Bird's screenplay describes that younger Bob as being in his late 20s. Work back from there, and during Stalingrad he is not a child, nor an aging veteran. He is a powered man in his early 20s, at the most recruitable point of his life. His powers are also unusually specific. Disney describes Mr. Incredible as immensely strong and durable, capable of lifting a semi-truck with little difficulty. Stalingrad did not need another rifle. It needed a human recovery vehicle. Hurley's party was not touring a quiet headquarters. It moved through newly contested ground west of the city, across damaged roads, past wrecked transport, and beneath enemy aircraft. A conventional escort could return fire. Bob Parr could lift the vehicle, clear a blocked road, pull men from a collapsed command post, and survive the blast that made those jobs necessary. That explains why he would not appear as a 4th officer. Bob's value was not rank. It was deniability. Every superhero, he later explains, has a secret identity. On a diplomatic mission inside the Soviet Union, the ideal American super would therefore travel as a civilian security or recovery specialist, close enough to intervene, ordinary enough to omit. This also tells us where Mr. Incredible probably was. Not posing beside the famous ruins in the city center. The documented party crossed near Serafimovich and moved through the Soviet encirclement corridor west of Stalingrad. That was the practical place for a concealed heavy lifter, behind the advancing formations, where bridges, trucks, headquarters, and wounded personnel had to keep moving. The more dramatic theory places him inside the northern factory district, holding up roofs at Red October or clearing passages near Barricade. His powers certainly fit that landscape. But the American route gives us something stronger than a cinematic image. It gives us a real mission he could have joined without changing a single named officer in the archive. And the silence is consistent with Bob's later world. The films show identities treated as top priority secrets. They also show a government capable of quietly relocating supers, granting amnesty, and removing their public lives from view. A bureaucracy that could erase Mr. Incredible from Metroville could certainly keep Bob Parr, Heavy Rescue, out of a wartime press account. No photograph is required. In fact, a clear photograph would contradict the assignment. Hurley, Park, and Henry were the visible delegation. Bob was the reason the delegation could enter a battlefield and still expect to leave it. So where was Mr. Incredible during the Battle of Stalingrad? The strongest reconstruction puts him west of the city, attached to Patrick Hurley's American Observer mission during the Soviet encirclement. He was not charging through Pavlov's house in a bright suit. He was traveling under his civilian name, clearing the route, protecting the first Americans allowed to witness the Soviet front, and disappearing whenever a camera appeared. 3 officers went into the public record. The man who made sure they came back did not. Mr. Incredible was at Stalingrad. He was simply doing the one job Bob Parr was uniquely qualified to do, carrying the evidence away.